the first one. Obviously, it's been announced now. How exciting is that, Willie?
Yeah, really exciting for the club. I think it shows how far the club's come on and off the field to be part of Vegas 26. It's going to be a huge occasion for the club, but we're representing KR, but it's more importantly we're representing the entire Super League and rugby league community over here. So what comes with that is a lot of responsibility, to uphold the highest of standards, and we're looking forward to doing that.
It definitely shows the progress of Hull KR on and off the field, doesn't it? To be on this global stage in front of so many people.
Yeah, it certainly does. There's been a lot of hard work going into the club over many years, but the last few years has sort of stepped things up. On the field, but also off the field as well. There's a lot of positive things happening, and this is another step for us to show how far we've come. But as I said, there's a lot of responsibility involved in making sure that we handle ourselves the right way, which we're going to do.
So when were you first told that your club were interested, and what was your initial thoughts then?
It was a while back there where I was sort of asked, would you like to be part of it, or is it something that we want to do? And I said, of course. From a coach's perspective, it certainly has its challenges, and it's not your normal week of a game, and things can. Obviously, there's a lot of distractions, and it'll test culture. There's no doubt about that. But I like to think that we've got a really strong culture and strong leaders that will be able to handle the week accordingly. But it was one of those that you're never going to say no to an opportunity like this. It's massive. Every club would want to be part of it. Obviously, the NRL have done it for a couple of years now, and we're lucky enough to be the Super League part of it last year, and Warrington and Wigan obviously were the first two teams to represent the Super League and did a great job.
And Leeds Rhinos, the opponents, makes for an exciting fixture, and as you say, the chance to showcase Super League to a wider audience. Yeah,
absolutely. That's what it's about. I think we've got a really good product over here, and although last year Wigan got off to a flying start and it opened up in terms of the scoreline, Warrington didn't give in, and they came back towards the back end. But it sort of showed how classy Wigan were as well, and the side that they are. We're looking to obviously go over there. It's about getting 2 points. At the end of the day, it's you're still playing for competition points, and it's a long way to go, and not perform or not get the 2 points is a long time to think about it. So, it's got a different prep to it. It's something that we need to embrace. There's no doubt about that. But at the end of the day, we're there to play a game.
Thanks, Willie. I'll pass you on.
Cheers.
Willie, I just asked whether you're going to reach out to Matty P or Sam Burgess. You mentioned there about it could be a test of your culture. Are you going to reach out to either of them just to see, how to handle the occasion and the week building up to it?
Yeah, there's no doubt I will at the right time. I mean, obviously, I don't want to talk it down, but it's a long way away, and we've got a lot to happen before then. But yeah, no doubt I'll reach out to people and who were there last year and find out what worked and what didn't, and how we can improve and that type of thing. It'd be mad if I didn't do that. So, without a doubt, we'll be doing that at the right time.
Hi, Willie. Just one from me on the Vegas trip. Does that mean that the trip to Amsterdam will not be happening? Or that?
Yeah, no. As far as I'm aware, at this stage it will. We'll have a busy sort of start to the season next year. It was a success this year for the club, so the club obviously want to do it again. As far as I know at the moment, it's still happening. And as I said, we'll make sure we support in the best way possible.
That's two kind of big trips early on. Does that daunt you? Is that daunting as a coach at all?
Yeah, we're gonna have a big sort of campaign. There's no doubt about that. We've got Tenerife as well, which is our pre-season camp. Look, you want to be in these positions. I think it's a privilege to be able to be in these positions. Like in an ideal world, we'd love to be playing in a World Club Challenge as well, and then amongst that. So there's a lot that's going to be going on. The definites are at the moment is Tenerife, going to Tenerife. As I said, as far as I know, we're still going to Amsterdam. and then we're going to Vegas. Now, if you win the Super League, then you're adding in a World Club Challenge for teams as well. So, that's something that we'll worry about when it happens, but the definite, and if and when, but the definites are those other three. So it has its challenges, but I think, where we're getting and where we're growing, we're at that stage now where we need to be able to learn to handle these sort of situations. And the only way you learn is by going through them.
Thank you, Willie.
Cheers, mate.
Right, let's get your team news ahead of Huddersfield then. Willie, how's the squad shaping up?
Yeah, squad's looking reasonably healthy. Obviously lost Oliver Gildart, which is massive blow to him and the team. But he's had his surgery and, he's got a long recovery now, obviously. Other than that, yeah, we're looking okay.
I know there was a couple of options with Ollie's surgery. Is it going to be the longer layoff for him?
Yeah, it'll definitely be the longer layoff. So we had surgery yesterday, and we're looking at that 4-month period now.
I know I spoke to him on one of these a few weeks ago, and it was clear how much he was enjoying his rugby, how much effort he put into his pre-season to make sure he's in the best possible shape. I know we ask this with every serious injury like this, but how's he doing? Is he all right?
Yeah, look, he's only just had the operation. It'll be all new to him. It's happened pretty quickly. It's going to be in a few weeks' time once he realises that he's not playing. Obviously, Challenge Cup, big games coming up because he's been a huge part of what we've done. He's right. He did have a strong pre-season. We didn't play in the grand final last year, but came back, had the right attitude. Put his best foot forward from day one. Hardly missed a session. I can't remember him missing too many sessions, if he missed any at all. He's played every game, I believe, up until now. He's been an important member, and a few of the media had him in their current sort of team of the year up to this stage after round 10 or whatever it is. So he was doing a job for us, and he was doing a very good job for us. But overall,
Is Rhyse Martin... Sorry, keep going.
No, I was just saying overall, yeah, it's obviously his well-being now that's the most important because it's a long layoff. But we'll get around him like we always do.
Is Rhyse Martin still projected around the Wakefield game, end of June, for his return?
Yeah, that's what we're hopeful for. It's difficult to put a definite on it, but that's the target game.
Of course, you do have options to cover Ollie in the centre. There's Jack Broadbent. We've seen Batch there recently. We've also got Noah Booth. What have you made of his return since he's come from his loan spell with you?
Noah?
Yeah, with Noah.
Yeah, no, we've been really impressed with Noah, and that's why he got an opportunity a couple of weeks ago against Salford. I thought he played really well. We always say that it's about earning a jersey. You're not going to be given it, and he's certainly earned that. A couple of weeks ago, and I thought he did a really good job for his first ever Super League game. So. He hasn't had a pre-season with us, and once he does, he's going to be even better for that. But he's certainly an athlete, and there's a lot to like about the future of Noah.
I know whenever I speak to you about those younger members, newer members of the squad, like Bill Leyland, you have almost like trajectories and progression plans for them. What does progression for Noah Booth look like over this season and going into next year? Yeah,
I mean, all that comes down to him, and that comes down to how he trains and when he gets his opportunity to play, which so far he's taken that. So it's about drip feeding him in, like getting in game time, because that's the only way to develop. So as I said, once you've earned the opportunity or to be selected, then it's about how we can develop them through playing, and essentially that's the best way that the players develop. But for us, we always look at training. What are they doing at training? When we're opposing, and then if it's about going to play reserves, what are they doing in reserves? How effective are they? And then obviously if they go to the championship, or League One, what are they doing there? So there's a lot that sort of goes into making sure that they've earned that jersey. But he certainly has earned the right to be in consideration now for team selection every week.
Is he progressing quicker than you thought? Were you expecting to have him back from his loan spell at Hunslet and elsewhere this season?
It's hard to say because we knew a little bit about him, but I didn't know enough. Once he comes in the environment, you understand his personality and a little bit more about him. You sort of get an idea then to say, okay, yeah, I think this guy, we can fast track him, and he's probably one that I did look at that. He's got a very good skill set. As I said, he's an athlete. So it was just about getting him used to our systems and our principles. But, he's going to be even better after a pre-season with us. But there's, as I said, there's a lot to like, about his future, but it's entirely up to him. There's a lot of players who have got talent and, who have a decent start, but then it's not about not getting complacent. It's about improving. But I don't see anything like that in Noah. I just see a kid that's going after it and wants to get better and wants to learn and develop.
Does a lot of that come down to work ethic then?
Yeah, work ethic and attitude, which he's got. A really good attitude. As I said, work ethic wise, he ticks the box. But after a full pre-season with us, that's when we'll see. The sort of the best of Noah.
He's played down spells during games. He started Jai Whitbread in the second row last weekend. What did you make of his go there?
Yeah, I thought he played well. We started in terms of our depth, going into the depth. There was Batch out at one stage. There was obviously Rhyse. So we had to try and manufacture a back rower. So we tried a couple of different options, and then. We did it with Matty Staunton last year, and Stoz went on to be a really key member of our team, and he was the same at Wakefield, was playing in the back row at the start of the year there, and I think they might have moved to the middle at the end, but, he wasn't known as a back row, and Jai's, similarities to Matty Staunton in terms of, whenever he's out in that field, he'll give his best, and he's willing to learn. He's willing to adapt. And most importantly, he'll play wherever's best for the team. And you want to have characters and personalities like that. As I said, Matty was like that last year, and Jai's like that this year for us.
Possibility we might be seeing more of him playing slightly further back then.
Yeah, there's absolutely a possibility. With the cup. Because we've got players cup tied and we're going to have to move things around a little bit. That might force some positional changes. But there's definitely we need to have backup, and we need to have guys that can go in and not just fill in, but actually play a role. And I thought he did that on the weekend. I thought against Leeds, he scored that try he set up that try towards the back end by punching through the line, and Jack Broadbent's try, and that was a good back rowers line, and I think he's adapted pretty well.
So it helps as well that he's clearly incredibly fit and he can last a full 80 minutes if required as well.
Yeah, that's a big plus for him. That's where he adds value. There's no doubt. You can put him in the middle or put him in the back row, and he's going to do a job.
Did you give the players an extra week off this week? Is that right?
Pardon?
Did you give the players an extra week off this week?
No, the week would have been too long. No, we only played on the weekend, so I gave him a day. Yeah.
I know you're very much it's one game at a time mentality. You're part of the successes. And we're also all very aware of the fans and player connection of this club. But those scenes after that win in North Yorkshire, I think really were above the usual for what we see post-game in terms of just the sheer love from the fans. How are you making sure that your players absorb that fully before you move on and focus onto this Huddersfield match?
Sorry, I don't understand the question when you say absorb it fully.
As in absorb that fan reaction and just that sheer love that was coming from those stands before you park that performance and say, right, focus all on Huddersfield now. Yeah, that's, for me, that was not a normal game because it was a semi to get into a cup final, but that's what our fans do. They appreciate this team, and the team appreciates the fans. So the acknowledgement that that both give each other is the norm now. And it's like when you lose, you lose together and you win together. Obviously, emotion to get into a Challenge Cup final is probably bigger than a normal game. But the only way that you concentrate on your next task is actually doing that, is narrowing your focus, and that's got to be the most important thing. So for us this week, we spoke about that. The players had 3 days off, but when they came in today, they needed to come in
and all they're thinking about was having the best training day that they can possibly have, and that's what they did. So that's the way that this team does, or goes about their business, is just narrowing the focus down to what's the most important thing. And today it was training. They'll get a day tomorrow where they can do their recovery and get themselves ready. They're back in captain's run, and then we're playing Huddersfield on Saturday. So that's how we look at it.
It's been a very intense, almost month and a half for your squad off the field, because you've got your derbies, game against Wigan, Challenge Cup semi-final, and then the Las Vegas announcement as well. Players have been doing a lot of interviews, a lot of media days. How are you making sure that they're still staying fresh mentally with all these added, media responsibilities that we've seen over the last few weeks?
Yeah, I think, like you said before, like giving them, that extra day off, so they can spend time with families and, recover and all that sort of thing. But, it's like we said, and I said this to you guys a couple of weeks ago, you could be saying this every week. Like I could say to you now, because we can be talking about it after we play Huddersfield into Warrington, into St Helens, into a cup final, and then off the back of that, I think we've got Catalans. So, like the next 5 weeks is hectic. It's Super League. That's the beauty of this competition now. Like we'll be saying that and then having these conversations ongoing, because it's a hectic schedule. But you want it to be. We want to be in these positions. We want to be. We don't want to have the week off. We want to be playing in the cup final, which we are, and what comes with that is you need to back up the week after and play in the Super League game. So it's week to week is hectic in the Super League, but it's what you want. It's what the NRL's about. You see over there that their teams are beating everyone. If you're not up and you're not on, and that's similar. Over here now, and that's what's making our competition the competition it is. So, we just got to manage the players and make sure that we handle their loads, and we know when to spike them and know when to pull back. That's all part of our job.
I guess the same applies to you as well, because I think it's probably the fourth time we spoke to you in 5 days, maybe. How do you make sure that you're staying fresh with all this hype and noise and media around the club, and that you're in a nice positive? You've got a lot of energy, basically. Yeah, it's like you just got to manage it and firstly be grateful for it, because as I said, I'd rather be us having to do these things and not do them. It means that we're in a privileged position. It means we're in a position where we're playing for something, which we are. So we're grateful for it. And as I said, we just make sure that we manage loads and manage the way we do things, and when we're on. When it's time to go away, I'm like anyone else, spend time with the family, and coaching's one of those 24/7 jobs, but I love it. That's why I do it. It's never ends, but you do need to learn to unwind at times, and I usually do that at the gym or the local cafe or playing with the kids. Nothing more relaxing than a jacket potato. Yeah, exactly. Right, let's look towards Huddersfield then. What are you expecting from them?
I'm expecting a good Huddersfield team. They've got all their players come back now, pretty much. So, they're going to be a different team to we played them earlier in the season and what they were earlier, because of the injury crisis that they had. So they're coming off a win against FC. They've had the week off. They'll be fresh. So we're expecting Huddersfield's best team.
It's clear that obviously personnel-wise there'll be much change, but what will have that win done for them mentally?
Yeah, no doubt a win would have given them a kick-start and given them some confidence. There's no doubt about that. But again, we need to look at us and go, right, we've just had a good positive win as well, and we need to back it up and draw from that energy, draw from what we did on the weekend, and that, especially in that second half. So, they're coming to our place, our home ground, so we need to make sure that when they get here that they're going to get the best version of us.
Lovely. Thank you for the time, Willie. I'll pass you on to others, and good luck this weekend.
Thanks, mate.
I think I'm all covered. Cheers, Willie. Best of luck this weekend.
All good. Cheers, guys.
Yeah, Willie, how are you doing?
Hey, James.
Obviously Wembley's still a few weeks away, but do you have a plan to manage your squad over these next few weeks?
Yeah, we will have a plan. and we do have a plan. Obviously, it's 3 weeks away, so there's still plenty to be played. But yeah, we just make sure as staff that we're doing all the planning behind the scenes and working out what we want to do team wise, and then all the logistics behind the scenes, and keep that away from the players. But yeah, obviously you need to plan and make sure we're ready to go in 3 weeks' time.
Have you got any plans to dip into the recruitment market at all to cover these? I know you're a bit light in certain positions, aren't you?
Yeah, I don't think we can, to be honest. I think it was look, because of we're okay in the Super League at the moment. In terms of having Arthur Morg and guys like Noel Booth and those type of guys available, but they're not available for the Cup, and obviously we lost Oleg. So yeah, I mean, there's not much we can do there at the moment in terms of bringing players in. I think the cut-off might have been last week or something like that. You can't just bring anyone in. So yeah, at the moment it is what it is, and we just got to manage it and get through it.
You're quite comfortable as well, because it looks like, not trying to preempt your team, but Jack Broadbent will go to centre and Arthur will come in at full-back, and then Jack could move back to full-back for Wembley's. You're quite comfortable with that? Him playing a different position than going...
You've had a speaker in the coaches' meeting, have you? Look, the thing about, Arthur, Arthur's a full-back, you can play in the halves as well. Jack can play anywhere. That's the beauty of Jack. So, he's... As we say every week, his value to our team, it's huge. But obviously, we want to, play Arthur as well. So, as I said, at the moment, in terms of the Super League, like we've got some options there.
Just finally, you're obviously doing a good job at OKR. That means you're going to be linked to other jobs. Your name's been mentioned in relation to Perth Bears. What do you make of that kind of speculation? Yeah,
I mean, it's out of my control. I've always said that at some stage, I've said to you guys and the club know, at some stage, if an opportunity come up, that I'd like to coach in the NRL, but my whole focus is what I'm doing now, and whole focus is making sure that we're getting ready for Challenge Cup in 3 weeks' time, and more importantly, a game on Saturday. That's the most important thing to me.
And you're under contract, aren't you, for the next few years, and you're determined to see that out?
Yeah, I'm under contract. That's right. Yeah. Look, as I said, like at some stage, if an opportunity come up, certainly look at it. But it's something that I'd love to do. And everyone, I've spoken to people internally know that. So I've shared it with you guys as well. But my whole focus is what I'm doing now, and that's it.
And you've obviously got a lot to still achieve, haven't you, at Hull?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got an opportunity to win something, and that's what we want to do. So we want to win something, and that's what we've nothing's changed in that way. That's for sure.
No, good stuff. Thank you very much, Willie. All the best for the weekend.
Cheers, mate. Yes.